Hello, this is author Consuela Meehan, and welcome back to Tell Your Story 2023. We have not been doing this series since 2020, and I am so excited to have a return author. Her name is Ashley Mark. Not only is she an author from 2020, she has also started business as self-publishing, and we are happy to have her back. Welcome back, Ashley. It is so good to see you.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
I think, was it 2020? Since the last time?
It was 2020.
Right. So it's been a minute. How are you doing?
Good. I'm so glad to be back, first of all. This was my first chance. You were my first interview, and it really propelled me forward. I think in the last 3 years, I've just been working on finishing up my series, because I did the first 2 books when we talked last time. I'm currently working on the 3rd one, but it also motivated me to be more like you, right? Because you have this outlet for indie authors, and it's just really not a lot of avenues for indie authors to use. So I thought that I would work on creating a platform for indie authors to receive publishing. As you know, but we'll tell everybody else, I started a publishing company. It's called Jmark Publishing, and we have 2 authors currently published with us, you being one of them, and I have your book that we published, 50 Ways to Love, a poetry book by Consuela Meehan. And we also have 4 books coming up soon. This is another one of them right here, Reflections of a Butterfly by Deanna Hill. So we've been pretty busy.
Yes, that is amazing. And I want to tell the audience about my publishing journey and the things that we personally discussed. So when I first started releasing my first book, I published with Dog Ear Publishing, and unfortunately, I got contacted by a group of authors. They said that Dog Ear Publishing was taking royalties, and they asked me to join into a possible lawsuit. And I had wondered what was going on, because I hadn't received any royalty checks for the first 2 books that I released under them. And so self-publishing is a touchy subject a little bit for indie authors, because they don't know what companies to trust. They don't know how much of their royalties they will get paid. And here we are now in 2023. And so I had to go through the process again of taking my original books down from the internet, because what happened was the authors did meet with an attorney, and because Dog Ear Publishing was an LLC, they ended up filing bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
And so my decision was, I'm not going to, go through that, because with the LLC and you file bankruptcy, there's nothing left. It's a limited liability corporation and things like that. So I encourage authors to do the research before they decide to do self-publishing. But I found a home with Jmark Publishing, and not only is it a Black-owned company, as a Black woman, it's amazing to see the transformation over the years, and I'm just really happy to be an author on your platform. And so thank you, and congratulations on your publishing company. And hopefully, the authors that see that will give you an opportunity to discuss your publishing with them, and they can find a new home like I did as well. So first, let's talk about your books, and then we'll go into some more publishing. So where are you with your writing?
Okay, so I'm still working on my writing. I am. I honestly just decided it's not as much of a priority at the moment, only because me being an author myself and knowing the like troubles that authors go through. And, just hearing your story and hearing the story of other authors that have either been messed over by bigger companies or just don't even know where to start. I feel like writing is important to me and I would love to write full time. But at the moment, I think I'm spending more of my time trying to help other authors find their way in the community because networking is so important. Like I was so lost when I didn't have any authors to communicate with. I joined a group on Facebook with other authors. I interviewed with you and we've kept in touch over the years, and it's just been so helpful for me to even get to this point where I'm at now, where I feel like, okay, now that I've learned the things that I've learned, I can still work on my craft, but my time will be better served at the moment helping others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like marketing is so important as self-publishers. It's one of the most important things. And you get into these indie groups and you advertise yourself. And I'll always be thankful for, the 2020 author book fair that I started because it encouraged other authors to start a book fair and do interviews as well. And even, us being on lockdown, Tucson, I'm in Arizona, so Tucson Book Fair is very popular here. And everything was just shut down, all the festivals, everything. And so we were all trying to find a way to, network that year. And I think it taught a lot of people important lessons about business, family. We work during the day, most of us, and then we write at night or do our second businesses. And on top of that, we're mothers. And so,
Mhm.
continuing to cram things into our schedule and definitely still make time for our kids. So it is a challenge. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's rewarding when we can meet people that have the same like mind as us and that have the drive and the energy too, because I can tell you that I don't have the energy I had in 2020.
Exactly. Especially
Go
sorry,
ahead.
being at home more, everybody's a little bit more disconnected. So it's so good to still feel that sense of community within, even if it's with just authors. Cause like I don't mean a lot of people that write. Most of the people are like, oh my God, you put all those words together. I'm like, it's it just comes out. Like I didn't plan it. I just started and the next thing you know, I had a book. So it's really nice to connect with people that can understand that feeling even. Cause that is
Yeah,
just
yeah. It's amazing when you get your first book and you're excited. You're like, okay, what's next? What do I do now? Like, because you do
exactly.
have, I've had family and friends support me, and I am grateful for them. But family and friends can't always support you, and that's not to say anything mean about them, but they may not always have the means to support you. They do what they can in a loving way, but the real audience are the people that don't know you, that you
Mhm.
want to introduce yourself to through your books, and that are intrigued by things that you write and things of the nature. So it's a good thing that we were able to connect and network, and I was able to connect and network with other authors as well.
Exactly.
So tell me what made you decide to start a publishing business?
Um, so I realized that my book is my baby, right? Like I love my son. He's awesome. He's my real baby. But my books are like so precious to me. And at first it was like, oh, I want everybody to read them, but then I don't want everybody to them. I don't want anybody to read them because it's like, what if they don't like it? What if they don't, and then I put myself out there and on in publishing my own books, I realized that a lot of people do not care about your books. Like you'll run into people in the industry, they don't care about your book. They don't think it's important. They just want to make money off of you. And I realized that to be an indie author, you want to feel safe. Although you're taking a big risk, you want to feel safe with the people that you're choosing to take that risk with. And I feel like I want to be that person for other people. I want people to know that this is not a cutthroat industry. There are some good people in the industry that will actually look out for you and take care of your babies.
Yeah, absolutely. And writing, I mean, there's people that are in the industry. They They're all about money. They're not going to be invested in you unless you can make them money, and that's that. But there are people
Exactly.
along the way that do take a true investment in you, and they want to, read your books, know what you have going on, outside of your books, and any other talent that you may have. And I found for you and I, when we talked, and the things that I've read, you're a super talented writer. And
Thank
so,
you.
you're welcome. And it's just true. But also, too, to point out is that as artists, we have to remember that our books may not be for everybody. Just like, a singer, actor, their movies or music may not be for everybody, and that's okay. But what I don't like about putting yourself out there is people that have access to your social media and they read the stuff or they watch interviews and they decide to drag you to filth for absolutely no reason. And
Exactly.
I just don't like that. I don't like the cancel culture. But it is one of those things where, you have tough skin, you put yourself out there, and you draw to the people that draw to you naturally.
Exactly.
Yes. And so what is next for you as far as writing, your next book?
So my next book is going to continue on my series. The first two books. So my first book, Shockwave, is about a woman named Joy. She's recently out of her, well, probably a couple years out of a relationship. She's trying to focus on getting herself back. As women, we lose ourselves in relationships. So she's working on uh, getting more in tune with herself, becoming a better mother, getting her career together. And of course, I like to write my own happy endings. So she meets Victor, and then she's just trying to balance being a mother, her career, and then trying to be able to trust again after being broken in love. Um, so then the next book is kind of a prequel to that one, where you get to see what Joy was healing from. It's about Lisa, but Joy is so involved in the first book that it kind of becomes it kind of gives you a better understanding of Joy. Like, you've seen her on her first journey you've seen her on a journey in the first one, where she's like, you're like, okay, she's trying to get over all these things, but was it really that bad? And then in the second one, you get to see just how bad it really was. And Lisa is the main character of Interstellar. She is just like caught up in this, her life is almost like a whirlwind. She's just like a leaf floating in the wind. She's just doing whatever until her parents tell her, like, look, we're moving back to Jamaica. You can't support yourself. You have to come with us. And she's just destined to prove that she can't take care of herself. And of course, she gets her job. She gets a job. And she's just trying to prove herself in the world. And then, of course, she falls in love with her boss. And then you just kind of see how that ties in with Joy. I don't want to say too much, but Joy is a big part of that.
Right. And I remember when we talked one time, we were like, "Oh, that is definitely a Lifetime series. Lifetime,
Right.
we're
Right.
we're ready. We are
We are. The third one
ready."
is going to be just like that. So the next one is about Lisa's friend, Mia. And she, you know how it is when you hang out with your friends. She's hanging out with Lisa and Thomas, and then Thomas has a brother. So now Mia has a love interest. And and it just kind of shows, like, it almost turns into like a small town. Like, all these people are close, all these people are connected, and you just kind of see how so many people can live a similar life and be so different. Like, they all hang out all the time, they all talk all the time. You would think that they have so much in common, and they are all vastly different people, vastly different couples, and of course the women. And I just like to write books that show how life really is for women. I make it fictional because we all have these things that we want. Like, I love love, so I like to write books that always make love be the hero.
Mhm.
But I like to be real about it. It's almost like self-help books. Like, Lisa's focused, Lisa's story is focused on toxic love. Like, do we really need do people really have to get cheated on or lied to, or deal with all those deceitful things to be in a relationship? And I don't believe that, but we experience it. So I like to write about, because I need people to understand that, okay, you might be in this situation, but here's what you can do to deal with it. Like either it's going to work or it's not, but you need to be honest with yourself. And I like to do that in my romance novels.
Yeah, and you know what is important to me as like you mentioned, like you watch different shows on the networks, and some of them they hit the nail on the topics that's really going on in the world. I mean, they knock it out of the park, especially with the acting. But then you have certain series where it's so unrealistic. You like, really? Did you really finish this like this? You know what I mean? And so but there are people that are drawn to that type of entertainment. But for me, and I think a lot of viewers, they really want to be able to connect with a character or connect with what they're watching. It could be movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a book. And so I definitely feel like that is something that I'm personally interested in. When you can say, oh my gosh, I've been through that. It is kind of self-help, because you're reading about a character that you can relate to. And that is important for an audience or a reader. And so definitely, I feel I completely understand that. And so do you think that you will venture off into anything else other than,
Um,
like, I know that we talked about Lifetime picking us up as a series. We'll speak it into
right.
existence.
Okay. Because it's going to happen.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
not, we're going to be on Tubi by
It
ourselves.
will
It's going to
be.
be
No,
something.
no, we ain't doing Tubi. No, we're not doing Tubi. Tubi,
Right.
no. Tubi is I won't say anything bad about it. It's for certain different audiences, but we want to step it up a little bit over Tubi. So we're gonna do our budget a little bit different than Tubi.
Right.
But still, whoever is writing for Tubi and the movies that are on Tubi, that's great for them, because no matter what, you have to start somewhere. So
Exactly.
I won't talk about Tubi. A lot of people on social media always laugh about Tubi movies and things like that, but there's so many streaming services now. There's so many options now. First, it was kind of just Netflix, and now it's Peacock. You have Amazon Prime. You have Paramount. You have BET
Exactly.
Plus. You have HBO Max. You got Disney Plus, Hulu, and there's so many other platforms. And just like YouTube, um, if you want to start small, you can put
Exactly.
your stuff on YouTube. So there's so much to choose from now. And so that's the next step, I know, for you and for me, to get things on a streaming network. And so I am actually excited and happy to see where and just how far we go, because there is not a lot of Black women in the film industry right now, not as writers, producers, directors, or anything. We represent a very small amount of people in the industry. And, I am excited to move forward and go that route to represent Black women as well. I know that that's something in your future and your path. Um, so I do want to say thank you so much for joining me this morning. I enjoyed talking to you, and the last thing before we leave out, what would be your advice about someone wanting to start writing and make a company and do publishing?
So my advice would be, one, for the writing, just write it. Don't overthink it. Don't try to correct it. Just write it. Read it a couple times, because you might actually find, this is something that I learned from personal experience. You find that you might be a better writer than you think.
Hmm.
I have a hard time writing more books because I'm busy rereading what I already wrote, because it's so good. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. But so I would definitely recommend, just write it. Don't worry about writing it in order. Just write it all out, and then you can piece it back together like a puzzle later. As far as becoming a publisher, I do not suggest doing it just for the money. It's a lot of work. Um, a lot of it is thankless because people don't see what you're doing really. My authors just get to relax. They don't really get bothered by me. They don't have to see what I'm doing. They just get to relax and know that their stuff is out there as long as they make sure that it's correct and it's how they wanted it as far as the cover, the interior of the book and stuff. They just get to sleep good. And I'm doing all the work. So unless it's not that kind of job. This is something that you should be passionate about to even get started. And then as far as starting a company, have a game plan. I definitely recommend taking your time and having a game plan. You need to be realistic about it and make sure you know the pros and the cons of what you're doing, because business is it's dangerous a little bit. There's a lot of stuff at stake, and it's really important to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And the people that have come to me that want to publish or self-publish, I always tell them, just do it. Just start writing. Because in honesty, you can read over your book, and you're going to find some error. And it could be a parentheses, comma, period that wasn't supposed to be there, or a broken sentence or something like that. And so you got to get your feet wet and you got to get started. And so that's definitely something that is encouraging. But you get your feet wet and you see how things go, and then you move forward, but never quit. Just because
Exactly.
something may be late or later in your life doesn't mean that it's a denial. A delay is not the same as a denial. Always keep moving forward, always keep pushing for greatness always, and follow your dreams. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. Somebody asked me, like, am I too old to write a book? I said no. I said, as long as you're alive, you should be dreaming. And you have the time, make the time, to do something you love. It's very rewarding. And then, you'll be able to share yourself and your writing and characters with the world. And so, with that being said, thank you so much for coming on today. It was so good to catch up, and definitely let the readers know your your website address and where they can find your books at.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I love doing these interviews with you. I can't wait for the next one, because if you do this next year, I'm going to be on it again.
Yeah, every year.
I'm sure I'm going to have more. Right. I'm going to have more updates. We'll have more updates, of course. I'm sure by next year, because again, speaking into existence, we will be on the streaming services. We'll have updates about where we're streaming.
Yeah, we'll have updates, and we'll have a surprise that for you and I, actually,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? And some things that we'll keep quiet about for now, but we'll have a surprise for our audiences. So that's awesome. And so jmarkpublishing.com, correct? That is the website. If you are inquiring about self-publishing and writing your book, please go to the website and find out more information. You can reach out to Ashley, or you can even reach out to myself. I will direct you to Ashley. She'll answer some questions for you. And it's been an amazing experience. And thank you for having me on your platform and your
Anytime.
publishing. Yeah.
Anytime.
And so congratulations again. And we will stay in touch.
Yes.